Welcome back. I'm Brandon, the HBAR Bull. I do some work for the HBAR Foundation, but the opinions in the weekend updates are either mine or those of the speaker, not those of the foundation. This week we have a lot to go over. We have a new kind of banking and loans with BankSocial, Zimbali that wants to revolutionize payments for the underbanked, Swirlds Labs is hitting the ground running, and much more, so let's get it. Today we have Silton Collymore, the co-founder and CEO of Zimbali, to tell us how he's planning on revolutionizing payments. Silton, thank you so much for swinging by.
Thank you, Brandon, and thank the Hedera Forum.
Well, to start off, we're going to show the audience a quick clip about Zimbali.
Sure.
My journey to Zimbali started right here in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. My parents emigrated from Haiti to the United States, and that's always informed my identity, my culture. I still feel a tie to this country and a desire to use my skills to contribute alongside with other Haitians to the journey of Haiti. We offer our customers to have access to credit simply by running transactions through their digital wallet. So any street vendor can have a QR code, accept a digital payment, make payments to friends and family, pay for items, and ultimately build a credit profile. When you empower a woman, you empower a family, you empower a community, you empower a country. And we can have that type of change in Haiti. We're going to be able to bring people who are using cash into the cashless economy. Cashless is going to be the way of the future. Giving people access to finance, making them bankable, that's the future of Haiti.
Silton, that's pretty inspiring stuff. So what's your broad vision for Zimbali?
So the idea behind Zimbali is that people want to be free. And so across the world, you've seen waves over the last 100 years where people are legally free, technically free, physically free, but economic freedom evades a huge portion of the planet. There are lots of people with big dreams. There are many more people with small dreams, owning a house, getting an education, paying for their kids' school clothes day to day. And a lot of those dreams of economic freedom exist on the other side of a banking relationship. And so you see this huge movement towards financial inclusion and unbanked and underbanked and all these kind of things. But it's still done in the same context of, it's not even like web era. It's not web 1, 2, or 3. It's pre-web, right? It's Bretton Woods. It's the old international monetary order. And what Zimbali represents is one of the first forward steps toward introducing a new economic order, which is based around people. Not the economic interests of nations, which have their, nations are comprised of governments and the people, and they're not always in sync, right? And it's not in terms of multinational or large banking interests, but individuals who just simply want to buy and sell things, save and earn money, and occasionally borrow or lend money. It's really simple. And Zimbali creates that rail that makes that possible.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest promises that crypto has, is unlocking the economic capabilities of billions of people. So it's really exciting, and I appreciate what you're trying to accomplish. So how exactly does Zimbali leverage the Hedera network?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to thank Lehman Baird and Matt Harmon for creating Hedera for us. It's an incredible system. It operates at market scale. And by market scale, I mean, whatever is the line speed of your connectivity to the nodes is the speed of the network.
Pretty much.
Right? So, yeah. So, it's amazing what you can do with the Hedera token system, the Hedera consensus service, as well as the smart contract service. And so by design, Zimbali is built on Hedera. It's built on Hedera for everyone else to benefit and use. Because Hedera is still a technical system.
Sure.
So it takes people with expertise and desire and passion and vision to come together and create the apparatus to make Hedera able to affect and touch your life. We call it the elevator principle, right? The elevator principle is really, really simple analog. When you walk into an elevator, you don't think about how complex an elevator is. An elevator is really one of the most complex machines. Like if civilization blew up, like you'd have to find specific people to make elevators.
Sure. It's not
right?
easy.
But when you walk in, you expect the elevator to be there. It's callable. The doors open and you press one button. It's a Jetson world, right?
Yeah.
You press one button and it does the rest of the work. And then you arrive where you expect to be. Zimbali is designed to take all the goodness that's in the Hedera system, all the work that the geniuses behind that, and also in the broader crypto industry, right? Because a lot of people put in a lot of effort to make things like this even possible, and turns it into an elevator where you go in, you have a goal, press a button, it works, and then you go live your life. And so we've spent, some money to date on engineering that and bringing it to the people later this year.
Exciting stuff. We actually know of another company that's focused on payments in the space, and it also has roots in Haiti. Do you have any connections or collaborations with MTech?
No, we don't work with MTech, but we support their goals and their operations. It's interesting that we came along roughly at the same time, looking at the same goals and the same impacts.
Yeah.
So my co-founder, Danielle Jean-Pierre, her family's roots are in Haiti. My wife's family's roots are in Haiti. So my daughter is, Haitian American. And when you look at the history of Haiti and how it's intertwined with, we won't do a history lesson, but, America grew because, Haitian slaves threw off the yoke of colonialism and forced Napoleon to sell the Louisiana Purchase. And so the history of America is tied in with the history of Haiti. And so one of the first places that we said to allow economic freedom to take root with all the, blood, sweat, tears, and toil, and, all the shingles and schooling, all that stuff has to pour into something that's of value for people that you don't know, that you'll never meet, but whose lives will be better because you did your job and had a vision. So we chose Haiti as our first place to implement Zimbali as a rail and impact the people and help them elevate themselves. We're not elevating them. We're simply giving the tools to the people for them to elevate themselves. And we support the work of groups like MTech in also doing the same thing.
Sure. And why don't we just show the audience a quick demo of the Zimbali network in action?
Sure.
Basic screen. I can either make a payment to a merchant. I can send money to another wallet. I can top up from my bank account, such as Howard Bank, or I can view the statements of my spending, which I'll show you in a sec. So I only have $10.31. I want to add, say, $50. I direct bank transfer. I say OK. And the transaction has been successful. The digital currency has been paid back. So I have $60.31 to spend. So let me just go here and go into Starbucks. So I go into Starbucks and I want to tell the teller that I'm buying a chocolate muffin. I want one of those famous cinnamon rolls, and I think I'll even have a cream donut. And I say yes. Then to wash it down, I'm going to take a coffee, a green tea, and a guava juice because I'm feeling quite greedy and hungry and thirsty. So that is my total amount. and then I say generate the QR code to make the payment. So I look back on my Just Pay Me and I say make payment, and I hover over the QR code with my phone, and you can see that this number here, $19.79, matches the invoice from the QR code. Then I scroll down and I'd say approve, and it's going through digital current transaction, global consensus mechanism. The amount has been honored at the merchant level. Transaction is successful. You can see that the amount has been deducted. I can go to my statement and I can see that I've just paid, I've topped up $50, and I've just paid Starbucks $19.79. So everything is good on this front. Then if I go to the wallet of the Starbucks, you can see that Pierre Leblanc has spent $19.79. Here are the invoice details of exactly what I bought and the sales tax, and the details of exactly where the money goes. So Pierre Leblanc, he spent $19.79. His bank, the bank of the merchant, gets about 9 cents, 10 cents. The central bank gets 0.39, and Zimbali gets 0.02. And there's a total of $19.27 that goes to the merchant.
Seems easy enough. Silton, is there anything else you'd like to pass on before we let you go?
Yes, we invite you to follow the butterfly. The butterfly is our symbol. And I know it looks like it's just like some spotted art in the background, but when you zoom out, it's actually a butterfly. And the reason why we do that is because every ecosystem of value, no matter where it is in time or history, requires a pollinator, requires a first mover and a first actor, someone who's willing to fight with the environment and find the resources to make the dreams of people and the system live. So wherever you see this butterfly in the future, you'll know that a company called Zimbali is working to improve that ecosystem, to grow it, and to ensure that it blossoms and that it's healthy. Coming this fall, our first app, Just Pay Me, which allows you to send money as easily across the world as you would across the street, will be available to the public coming in Q4. So look out for that launch, and we hope to come back to the Hedera Forum and talk about that when it's time.
We'll love to have you back. Thank you so much for swinging by, Silton.
Thank you so much, Brandon. You guys take care.
The next clip is courtesy of Hello Future Buzz, so make sure to give them a follow on Twitter. They had John Wingate from BankSocial on to discuss how they're planning on disrupting the banking and loan industry. I'm going to allow him to explain, but I also wanted to include a section discussing how and why his company chose Hedera. So here it is.
We've launched a protocol and a DAO that essentially has the capacity and the legal capacity to lend on asset-backed loans. And so we have several loans in the pipeline. We just got our full DAO status a few months ago. The idea around the whole concept of social capitalism is that with distributed ledger, decentralized distributed ledgers, we are able to cut out more middlemen and allow members of communities to build communities that are financially backed and then participate in the benefit of those ecosystems. And I think what we'll see, we've certainly been talking to a lot of, there's the whole financial side of things with banks, credit unions, and then there's the whole corporate side of things with, we're working on some very cool technology with wearables and allowing the corporate bodies to directly engage with their consumers and the most active consumer base through all these different technologies that are coming together. And so that's the overall idea and concept behind what we're doing at BankSocial. When I looked at the specific use case for why we would use Hedera over any other distributed ledger was after, it's been about 3 months, and it was after we had some meetings with some credit unions, and we came out with a need that we had, not only credit union buy-in for, but also government buy-in for, and we needed a secure solution that inherently gave us the ability to launch a product that could be, I don't want to use the word or the term sold, because the thought isn't that we're like going out and selling it, more so than it is, when you go in and sell somebody on the idea of something, the credit unions, governments, they are fairly conservative, and, they want to know that whatever they're initially jumping into is inherently more secure than anything else out there. I mean, certainly it's safe to say that Oracle, Windows has launched with bugs, right? Massive security holes that credit unions, put that into their ecosystem, and they're now vulnerable as well. So, nobody's trying to eliminate risk. They're just trying to reduce it significantly. And when we looked out there at the ecosystem, after having those meetings a few months ago, Hedera very quickly rose to the top and stayed at the top. As we continued to check boxes off of what we needed and what Hedera had, it continued to stay at the top, really, leaps and bounds ahead of any other distributed ledger that we're aware of, or that has, there's also the side of, well, there may be some emerging technology that purports to be, significantly better. I'd prefer, with the whole way distributed ledgers can be overtaken and attacked, I'd prefer to be into something that has much better distribution on the validator network, has support on the mirror node network, and support on the visibility into the chain itself, or into the confirmations, the transaction confirmations itself. And it really was the only solution out on the market that had all of that. I think you guys are in the right place. Your heads are in the right place, sticking with Hedera. I don't want to call the winner in the race. I think that Hedera has tremendous capacity and capability, and I'm glad to find such a healthy and welcoming community that we can pair with our community and just bring more strength overall to our mutual communities as we continue to identify and build the future together.
It's worth listening to the entire Twitter space, so head on over to Hello Future Buzz to catch the entire thing. I was really impressed with the JSON RPC Relay. The relay makes it easy for existing libraries, development tools, and wallets to effortlessly work on Hedera. Here's a quick clip explaining.
I am going to demonstrate some of the capabilities of the JSON RPC Relay. This relay was designed as an on-ramp to the Hedera Hashgraph public ledger for existing users of Ethereum and other Ethereum-compatible networks. This demo shows two accounts, Alice and Bob, which both use MetaMask as their wallet. I will show a simple HBAR crypto transfer between these accounts. I will show a fungible token transfer between these accounts. And I will finish by showing a simple voting dApp used by Alice to make smart contract calls to Hedera that are signed by her MetaMask wallet. To begin with, Alice needs to set up her MetaMask wallet to work with Hedera. If she selects this drop-down at the top, she can add a new network. She will enter a name. She will then put into this new RPC URL field the URL of her preferred JSON RPC relay. MetaMask asks for the chain ID, which for this network is 298. And if she gets the value wrong, MetaMask warns her. Finally, she can enter any currency symbol of her choosing. She will call it HBAR. Then click Save, and she has configured her MetaMask wallet to work with Hedera. Now I'm going to bring up HashScan, which is Swirlds Labs' hosted Hedera Network Explorer. I will enter Alice's account ID into the search field. I can see that Alice has about 1,840 HBAR and about 13,370 TFT2 tokens. I will now bring up Alice's MetaMask wallet on Firefox that we just configured. We can see that the wallet correctly shows the amount of HBAR in Alice's account, but does not yet show her TFT2 balance. I want to also check the balance of Bob's account in HashScan. We can see that Bob has almost 109 HBAR in his account, but no TFT2 coin. Let's open Bob's wallet in Google Chrome. We see that Bob's wallet correctly displays the exact same amount of HBAR as HashScan. Alice has a lot more HBAR than Bob, and feeling generous, she decides to send 99 HBAR to Bob. So, in her wallet, she clicks Send, selects Bob, enters 99 as the amount of the transfer, and then verifies the transfer details. She confirms the transaction. At this point, MetaMask signs the crypto transfer and sends it to the JSON RPC Relay, which then sends the transaction on to the Hedera network. Almost instantly, the transaction completes, and we see a new record appear in HashScan. MetaMask polls the JSON RPC Relay and eventually shows the results of the transaction in both Alice and Bob's wallets. Let's add the TFT2 token type to both Alice and Bob's wallets. In MetaMask, you do this by selecting Assets and then Import Tokens. We enter the contract address of the token type into MetaMask and instantly see the TFT2 token type and decimal information populated in the UI. MetaMask has gone to the JSON RPC Relay and asked it for the information on this token type based on the contract address, and the relay has recovered this information from the mirror node. We can see that Alice has 13,370 TFT2 coins and Bob has none. Once again, Alice decides to send some to Bob. She decides to send 1,000 TFT2 coins to Bob. In the same way that she sent HBAR, she can select Bob as the recipient, enter the amount of TFT2 to send, review the results, and confirm the transaction. Once again, MetaMask sends the signed transaction to the JSON RPC Relay, which sends it to Hedera, and after a few seconds, MetaMask receives confirmation of the transfer and shows the results in both Alice and Bob's wallets. Alice decides it is time to place a vote for her favorite user's account in a voting app. This dApp was not developed for Hedera. It is an Ethereum demo application on GitHub that we did not modify in any way for Hedera. It uses web3.js to create transactions and MetaMask for signing and submitting them. When the app is first opened, Alice will use this Connect button to tell the app to connect with her wallet. She then clicks this button to start voting. This button is going to call a method on the smart contract deployed to Hedera. So the app will create a transaction and send it to MetaMask, which prompts Alice to sign and send this transaction. When Alice sends it, MetaMask sends it to the relay, which forwards it on towards the Hedera network. We can see here in the UI the transaction the dApp sent and the receipt it got back from the relay, and we can see the status is 1, meaning success. Alice can now select an account she wants to vote for and add her vote. This again calls a method on the smart contract running in Hedera. So a transaction is created and MetaMask prompts for it to be signed. Once again, it is sent to Hedera through the relay, and once again it succeeds. We just saw how the JSON RPC Relay enables Ethereum dApps to work with Hedera by deploying standard EVM smart contracts to Hedera and using standard Ethereum libraries like Web3.js and standard Ethereum wallets like MetaMask to work with Hedera accounts and smart contracts. We saw the ability to transfer HBAR and fungible tokens using MetaMask and the JSON RPC Relay. And we saw how to configure your MetaMask wallet to be able to use a JSON RPC Relay to talk with the Hedera network.
So because of the interview I did with Mance Harmon last week, I didn't do a weekend update, but the HBAR Foundation has not slowed down a bit. They've been coming out with announcement after announcement, and I haven't been able to cover them elsewhere, so I wanted to cover them here. The first one that I wanted to cover is the HBAR Foundation support for Mio. Mio's in the fashion industry and is going to create NFTs for their garments, and they're going to be tracked through woven labels. Now, we've seen similar use cases in other industries, and this serves pretty much the same purpose of guaranteeing authenticity and origin. Now, this alone could provide a tremendous amount of transactions to the Hedera network, but they also have aspirations in the metaverse, so it's going to be interesting to see what they come out with. The next one we wanted to cover is TuneFM. TuneFM is one of the OGs in the Hedera space. TuneFM is essentially a Hedera-enabled music streaming service and one of the very first applications in our ecosystem. Pretty much when the music gets played, the artist gets paid. Also of note, their Jam token, ticker JAM, is one of the first, actually it is the first HTS token to hit secondary markets. Now it was recently joined on the exchange Bitrue by the Galaxy token CLXY, but it's good to see the HBAR Foundation supporting these kind of original use cases in the Hedera ecosystem. The next one that I wanted to touch on is the Task Force on Nature Markets. Now, this isn't so much financial support. The HBAR Foundation is partnering with the Task Force on Nature Markets, helping to funnel knowledge and expertise gained from working with platforms and partners like The Guardian, Civic Ledger, Dovu, and Timeless. And pretty much the next one, along the same lines, we have the HBAR Foundation supporting object computing that is trying to support climate marketplaces with augmented regression market makers, ARM for short. This helps in pricing semi-fungible assets which are prevalent in the energy credit markets. Since I didn't do a weekend update last week, I have a lot to cover in the look back. We had a Twitter Spaces AMA with Stater covering their HBAR Liquid Staking version 2.0, an interview with Hedera founder Mance Harmon where we didn't shy away from any of the hard questions. And then on Monday, we posted a Twitter Spaces with Galaxy, Hashport, and Polygon Studios on interoperability. On Thursday, we did a really entertaining video with the founder and chief creative officer of the gaming company Vavel to talk about their ambitious plans to integrate Hedera into their games. And we couldn't miss the AMA hosted by Ledger on them integrating HBAR into Ledger Live. Elaine Song did a fantastic job answering their community's questions, and I took the opportunity to pitch them on HTS token integration as well. Next week, we're going to have HexTrust and Hashport on to talk about crypto custody and circle back on interoperability. At 2 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, the HBAR Foundation will be jumping on a Twitter Spaces with a Terra Luna influencer. We're hoping to spread the word about Hedera to a new community. The HBAR Foundation is also putting on a 2022 Hackathon investor pitch, so here's a good chance for the teams to try to grab some capital. And there's all kinds of other stuff in the works. It shouldn't come as too much of a surprise to anyone that the crypto markets have remained under pressure, but what's different this week is the stock market was up while crypto markets were down, and that's not a great sign. HBAR has been following Bitcoin, though the moves are a bit amplified. Bitcoin is sitting just above support at 28,800. And if it breaks support at 28 to 28.5 and doesn't pop quickly, there are much lower targets including 20,000 in the cards. HBAR is sitting at about 8.8 cents, down 12% on the week, which has it pretty much in line with the general altcoin complex, and it's still sitting in the mid-30s on the CoinMarketCap rank. Hopefully we hold the Google spike support at about 8 cents, but if Bitcoin wants to break the previously mentioned support, the opportunities could get interesting. I often look to Algorand for relative performance, as I see it as the next nearest competitor in terms of capability. And with Algo sitting at 36 cents, HBAR is still holding a premium based on total supply, even without staking. For me, now and for the next 12 to 18 months is the time to build and accumulate, not pay too much attention to price. But I wouldn't say no to the addition of a nice high-profile council member or Atma.io coming online and giving us a little outperformance. To update everyone on Stater HBAR staking, we have over 533 million HBAR total value locked, and the APY is sitting at about 45%. Well, that's it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you appreciate what we're doing.